So you want to become a music producer, engineer, or even an artist, but you think it's too late. You think you may be a little too old. Or maybe you're one now and you think there's no room for you anymore. You see a lot of youngsters doing their thing. How old is the average music producer, engineer, or artist anyway? Is it a young man's game? I did some research. Let's discuss. Welcome to Platinum Lyrics and Beats Podcast. I'm your host, Trey Boy. I teach aspiring music producers how to create and sell dope beats online without the confusion and frustration of wondering where to start. How's your day going? How's your week? Hope you are doing great today. I'm glad to be here sharing musical gems with you. I love doing this. I enjoy coaching aspiring music producers and bringing experienced engineers and artists on the show as well. So, all right, let's get to it. All right. Is being or becoming a music producer, engineer, or artist a young man's game? All right. Do the doors close to musicians at a certain age? Do they say, all right, we don't let any old people get in here, any older people get in here? Let's see what research says, and I'll share with you what I know and have experienced. Bill Withers, I'll start with him. Bill Withers. Look him up if you don't know him. He's a great he was a great songwriter and producer. He had early success, but he didn't take off until he was 32 years old. 32 years of age. All right? I'm just going to go down and give you a couple of examples of musicians and producers and, people who were in the music business who didn't quite take off until later on in their career. Even if they started early, things worked out later. Pharrell started out young, making music, producing. Some of his bigger hits took off in his mid to late 20s and even his 30s, right? Still making music. The hit song he produced titled Happy, everybody know that song, came out in 2013. He was around 40 years old. 40 years old, right? DJ Khaled, they don't want us to win. He was in the game for a while, and his career took off when he dropped his sophomore album, We the Best. He was 34 years old, all right? That was a hot project. 50 Cent started off rapping in his early 20s. It wasn't until he was around 28, I guess mid-20s, around 28, they say, when his career took off. That's 2 years shy of 30 years old. There are engineers in their 40s and 50s, even 60s, still mixing hip-hop and R&B records till this day. All right, so the answer to your question is no, you are not too old to start producing music, to become an engineer or artist. All right, now you will have to put in the work. It's not going to come to you because of your age. You have to put in the work, and it's not too old for you if you're still doing it because, as you can see, a lot of these other guys are still doing it. How old was Dre? Dr. Dre and Jay-Z, how old were they when they dropped their last album? So if you have something to say, man, put it out there. People need to hear it. 2 Chainz, before he blew up, look how old he was. All of these people I just spoke of had several things in common. All right, several great traits. But I'll give you 3 for sure. Number 1, grit. All right. What is grit? Grit is spirit, guts, or courage. No matter what it looks like, you keep fighting. All right. All the odds are stacked against you, and you know it. But if you don't quit, you can win. That's what's in your mindset. That people who have grit, that's their mindset. If I don't quit, I can win. All right. You might feel tired or weary, but you never give up because you know all that you have put up with and fought through, it will pay off. I mean, it has to, all right? It's not something you play with. It's a mindset. It's a total mindset. That's what these people have in common. Grit. Even when people doubt you and they're looking at you crazy because it's like everything you're doing, you know, they're saying, they're looking at you, it's like, man, that isn't going to work. But you know what your work is not going to be in vain. You continue to go for it. You realize that they just don't see what you see. You may be discouraged sometimes. You may even get down on yourself, but you pick yourself back up out the mud and keep going. That's grit. No matter how cloudy it is, if you elevate high enough, you will find the sun. No matter how cloudy it is, if you elevate high enough, you will find the sun. For me, that's grit. All right. No successful person you have ever seen in any field has made it without having it. None. Each person that has made it to greatness had to have grit. All right. What's the next thing these people had in common? Patience. You got grit. We're not going to stop. We have patience. Patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Another way to put it, patience is the ability to wait for a long period of time with little or no complaint, despite the obstacles and difficulties. Having patience is key if you're looking to pursue anything long term, because nothing happens overnight, especially not success. The oak tree sleeps in the acorn, but it would take several seasons for the tree to fully mature. It's going to take a while for the tree to fully mature. All right, but we know if it's planted well, if you fertilize it, you water it, you take care of it, it will grow. All right? When we are patient, we give ourselves time to choose how to respond. So when you're not rushing, you can make better decisions. You can strategize and think of a plan rather than getting emotionally hijacked by our emotions. I'll say that again. I believe that was powerful. We can strategize and think of a plan rather than getting emotionally hijacked by our emotions. You know, when you're really emotional, you don't make the right decisions. You get angry, upset. You got to get your emotions under control for you to make the right decisions. We all have made bad decisions when we were emotional. It's good to have your emotions in check before you make a quick decision. We usually make the wrong decision when we are emotional, right? Patience also allows us to stay gathered no matter what's happening. When you develop the skill of having patience, yes, I will call it a skill, because you have to continue to do it for that muscle to build. When you develop the skill of having patience, you will control more of your world. And when you accomplish your goals, it will be that much sweeter. Your goal, when you get to your goal and you get to your success, it's going to be that much sweeter because you didn't make a lot of wrong decisions in the past. All right. Last but not least, the people who you see that are still doing it at a high level and they're older are people who started later on that were successful. They had a mentor. When Pharrell first started producing music, he had Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley is a super producer. He produced groups like Guy. A couple of more groups doesn't come to my mind right now. I can see him. I can see it in my head, but it doesn't come to my mind right now. But if you get a chance, look up Teddy Riley, Blackstreet, a couple of more groups. But man, this dude is cold. He's still living today. Check him out, man, Teddy Riley. But Pharrell connected with Teddy Riley. I believe Teddy Riley used to have competitions between artists and producers, and I think that's how they connected, if I'm not mistaken. But Pharrell had Teddy Riley. As a matter of fact, Pharrell produced one of Teddy Riley's songs back in the day. I think it was Rump Shaker. He produced the beat. All right. But Teddy helped guide Pharrell on his way. 50 had Dre. All right. And he probably had some mentors before he met Dre, but we all know 50 had access to Dre, and Dre helped him get to the level, he is today. 50 also has a couple of books out there. Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. I would advise you to read that, check it out. Very good book. 50 did nice with that, man. As a businessman, he's a smart guy. No matter how talented you are, you will never win by yourself. You need someone with a bird's eye view to help guide you through the trenches. That's what mentors do, all right? You need someone to say, don't turn that way, turn this way. Don't make a left, make a right. Mentors can come in the form of authors who wrote books, inspirational speakers on YouTube, or anyone you look up to that's in the field you're trying to get into. Some will come free. Some you would have to pay. You would have to pay some of your mentors. But believe me, investing in a mentor is well worth it, especially when they help you get to your destination faster and well equipped. Can't beat that. All right? So what did we learn today? We must have grit if we look to succeed and be at this music thing for a long term, right? We got to have grit. Have a failure resistance mind. Secondly, we must have patience, because if we're building anything great, there has to be a process. It's going to take time to get to where you want to go. You have to have patience, and it's going to help us not to make emotional decisions that we shouldn't have made. We had patience, so we were able to strategize and think things out. And lastly, we must have a mentor. Listen, no man is an island. We need someone who has been there, done that. That's key. That's key. Those are the 3 points I wanted to make. Don't forget about the free gift I wanted to give aspiring music producers. The Producer's Blueprint. I'll show you everything you need to know to get started in being a music producer and how to benefit from it financially. All right? Thank you guys for listening. Leave a comment. Let me know if you are an aspiring music producer, engineer, or artist, and you have more to add to the discussion. If you're on Apple Podcasts or another platform, please leave a review on this episode. My goal is to inspire you to start in your music production career and make some life-changing music and money. Let's get it. I'm Trey Boy. I'm out. Peace.